You'll pay the price if you don't comply. That was the chilling message Linda Hargrove, the self-appointed HOA president, fired off to me right before she stormed out into the Lake Ranch office parking lot, dialing 911 in a rage. To her, I was the insolent newcomer who dared to defy her iron-fisted rule, all because I refused to fork over those absurd HOA fees. Moments later, she was screeching into the phone, painting me as a volatile threat who needed to be subdued on the spot. That call could have landed me in cuffs, but instead, it unleashed a storm she never saw coming. The first responder wasn't some rookie cop, it was a force that flipped the script on Lake Ranch entirely, someone who knew me better than she could have dreamed. Linda thought she owned the game, but what was barreling toward her would shatter her empire and expose her for the fraud she truly was, right in front of the whole damn neighborhood. I never imagined inheriting my grandfather's house 6 months ago would drag me into a war with a tyrant like Linda. Lake Ranch looked like the ideal spot to kick off my plumbing business and settle into a quiet life. The house was on a prime corner lot, shaded by ancient oaks that had outlasted most folks around. Grandpa Sam built it himself in 1987, fresh from Vietnam, every board and nail a testament to his grit. He never breathed a word about homeowners associations or nitpicky rules on mailbox colors. That should have tipped me off when Linda showed up 3 weeks back, clipboard in hand, like she owned the place. It seemed harmless at first. She rocked up in a glaring neon suit, folder bulging like it held state secrets, declaring herself president of the Lake Ranch HOA, and slapping me with $500 in back fees for the past 6 months. I calmly told her I'd never heard of any HOA, never signed a thing. Her grin twisted into something predatory as she rattled off violations my supposedly unkempt yard, the wrong shade on Grandpa's old black mailbox. She even whipped out a tape measure to nitpick the driveway to sidewalk gap, acting like it was a national security breach. What really boiled my blood was how she preyed on the neighbors. Maria Gonzalez, a single mom pulling double shifts as a nurse, confided in me with tears streaming Linda had labeled her kids' backyard play as excessive noise and threatened to sick child services on her for fostering a toxic environment. Then there was Tom Baker, who owned a little donut shop and got hounded for unauthorized commercial activity, just for sharing leftovers with seniors. These weren't rules. They were weapons wielded by a power-drunk bully against the weakest links in our chain. The more I heard, the more I dug in, vowing to unravel this phantom HOA nobody recalled joining. At the county records office, I pored over deeds and filings. No trace of a registered Lake Ranch HOA incorporation, no covenants, nothing binding. Grandpa's deed was spotless, built pre any such nonsense. Linda's notices bore a tiny logo, Community First Solutions. A quick search revealed it wasn't local. It spanned over 20 states, with cookie-cutter sites, fees, and brutal tactics. This wasn't petty meddling, it was a nationwide racket, chilling in its scale. Back home, I fired up Grandpa's ancient security cams, solar-powered relics from his military days. Footage showed Linda sneaking onto my property at dawn, slapping on notices, and barking into her phone about expedited acquisitions and removing holdouts to someone named Paul. This was no harassment, it was a takeover plot. Evelyn Petrov, Grandpa's 78-year-old pal, dropped by with a pie and dirt. Linda had been strong-arming elders to sell, dangling threats of developments and eminent domain. She hinted Grandpa had contingencies we couldn't fathom, her eyes twinkling with secrets. Surrounded by docs and videos that night, I grasped the beast, a syndicate targeting communities, forcing sales through fake fees and terror. But Linda had messed with the wrong vet's grandson. Grandpa taught me bullies thrive on silence, and I was done being quiet. Diving deeper felt like starring in a thriller. I visited Rebecca Hayes, the real estate lawyer down the street, who'd been hit with repaint demands for her non-compliant blue house. She dissected my findings. Community First wasn't 20 states, it was 23, a web of shells with shared servers and identical playbooks. Spreading an old map, she highlighted my lot as the linchpin for any big build-out, needing my access roads. Linda's frenzy to oust me clicked planned long before I arrived. Rebecca's daughter Sophie, a tech whiz senior with influencer vibes, jumped in. She'd been shadowing Linda, uncovering forums rife with identical HOA horror stories. Hacking a secure chat. She exposed coordinators swapping tips on breaking owners, financial squeezes, authority meddling. Linda sought advice on a stubborn vet holdout, naming Paul as a permit-fixing ally. Right then, my phone rang. Councilman Paul Donovan, oily-voiced, pushing a meet-up on my HOA issues. He dodged my legality probes with bureaucrat babble, confirming Linda's tentacles in government. We plotted late, piecing a fraud mosaic, but knew it needed more than paper and pixels. Sophie nailed it. This reeked of big money backing pros exploiting loopholes. Rebecca's warning iced my veins. She doesn't want fees, Alex. She wants your land for her empire. Hunted in my own home, that's how it felt as Linda ramped up. My truck became a violation magnet. Citations for gnome decor, house numbers, porch light. She even tried banning me from main roads, claiming HOA dominion over streets. Maria called sobbing Linda had letter-bombed her boss, questioning her fitness. Tom faced inspector raids and fake social smears from Linda's bogus accounts. Sophie hacked deeper, spreadsheets cataloging vulnerabilities, Maria's solo parenting, Tom's thin margins, Evelyn's pension. Calendar entries screamed conspiracy. Pinnacle Development meets, zoning fast tracks with Donovan. Evelyn filled gaps. Linda hounded Grandpa to sell for years, accelerating post his decline. Her latest notice? Road ban, truck tow, threat strapping me. Grandpa's Purple Heart stared down. Submission wasn't an option. That night, her text sealed it. You'll pay if you don't comply. We're dawned. Believe a 911 call can flip a war? Linda's did, from that lot, thinking it her coup. I rolled up with evidence, demanding she cease neighbor torment. Spotting me, her poise cracked, panic flared in that lime suit. I stayed cool, citing her fraud. She erupted, threats flying. I hit record, announcing it. Boom, meltdown. She dialed 911, hysterically branding me a menace. Sophie live-streamed from afar, HOA turret versus vet, views surging. Cops arrived mid-rant. Sergeant David Bear Ramirez, my Afghan brother-in-arms who'd saved my ass in Kandahar. Bear clocked me, listened to Linda's victim act, then stonewalled. Let's clarify, ma'am. He vetted my vid, pulled records, no legit HOA. Bigger. FBI tracked these scams, fake HOAs forcing cheap sales for devs like Pinnacle. Linda's frantic calls exposed her sophistication. Damage control. Shut the stream. Neighbors swarmed. Rebecca with legalese, Maria with threats, Tom with smears, Mike Torque Jenkins, another vet, with vet targeting proof. Sophie traced bot attacks to Linda's network. Bear's radio crackled federal confirmation. Pinnacle fronted a fraud ring defrauding hundreds nationwide. Linda? Not just manager-founder of the psych tactics. Agent Lisa Wong rolled in with warrants. Raids unearthed profiles, manuals on manipulation, Donovan bribes. Simultaneous busts nationwide. Linda's cuffing went viral on Sophie's stream. 2 million watched her victim plea flop amid evidence. Lake Ranch exhaled. HOA dissolved. Fees null. $12 million settlement. But Grandpa's basement ammo box? A $1.8 million trust for vets/families. Decades of secret aid logs. Karen surveillance predating his death. He'd built a shield network. Combined funds birthed a vet center. Sophie scored scholarships, sparked anti-fraud laws. Nationwide, millions recovered, dozens jailed. Linda, 8 years, Donovan, 6. My book and doc series ignited debates. Was this corporate greed unchecked? Government complicity? Vets' rights trampled? Lake Ranch became a beacon, proving unity and exposure crushed bullies. Grandpa's legacy? A community armored against predators, forever. But whispers linger. How many more Lindas lurk, rigging the system?